was really trying to be subtle with that, but that did not work. The other day, I was talking to a friend, and he asked what graduating meant to me. The first thing that comes to mind is just thinking, I'm finally finishing. Finishing the 4 years of late nights, exams, and group projects that we at times disliked, but we managed to get through it. And then I thought about it a little more, and I realized graduation isn't just the culmination of 4 years of hard work. It is a much bigger story. And today's ceremony is about celebrating that entire journey. My story and the personal, unique stories of each graduating student in attendance today. My story is about immigrating to this country and pursuing the opportunities here. I was born in a small town in Sri Lanka, and in Sri Lanka, there's a harsh divide of economic classes, and you need to be wealthy to get a quality education. From an early age, I knew that pursuing a higher education was an absolute necessity for success. My parents had a great desire for me and my brother to have better educational opportunities than they did. So they continuously applied for the green card lottery until one year, through a stroke of luck, we received the opportunity to come here to the US and start a new life here, a new beginning. Those early years after arriving in the US were full of struggles. I remember having to huddle up together at night with blankets because the cost of ample heating was more than we could afford. I remember in order to have enough food to eat, most of our meals would consist of leftovers my dad would bring home from working at 2 fast food restaurants. I remember even our family taking furniture that other people had thrown away as trash. A part of me wishes to simply forget about these hardships. However, the other part of me realizes that being able to persist and overcome those challenges have shaped the determined and focused person I am today. As I stand here about to graduate, my parents and I were remembering this humble starting point. My mom mentioned how proud they were of me because I've been able to do this all my own without their help. While I don't necessarily believe that I was entirely alone throughout this journey, because I certainly could not have gone through this entire journey without a support system, I realized there was some truth to what she said for me and others who immigrated here. For many of us, our parents didn't have knowledge on how to navigate the US education system. Many of our parents were not equipped with the financial planning tools either. I remember when I was going through the process of applying to college and high school, I asked my parents if they had some sort of college savings or any money to help pay my tuition, and the answer was no, that was to pay the bills. But after attempting to learn the college process on my own, I applied to the only school I wanted to go to, the University of Maryland, College Park. Despite my best efforts, I was rejected. And at the time, that was the most demoralizing feeling. Looking back though, I have come to the realization that sometimes not getting what you want is the best thing that can happen. That moment of rejection was a pivotal moment. After reevaluating my options, I applied to and was accepted into the Macklin Business Institute Scholars Program at Montgomery College, MC. After 2 years of thriving in a small environment, I was able to apply to the University of Maryland, College Park as a much stronger candidate. And I was thrilled to see that the Smith School program was offered at USG, allowing me to have the Smith School education while also being in an environment that was better suited for me. Through the Turk Transfer Program, I was able to transfer to USG and become more involved. I've enjoyed my time serving as a USG student ambassador. I have loved blogging for our Around the Globe blog for the past 2 years. And of course, one can't forget all the fun events that USG has allowed all of us to partake in, from leadership bistros, etiquette dinners, to USG Fest, Oktoberfest, International Night, and many more. What is truly amazing about this USG community is that each and every one of us has our own unique story. And together we are a community of acceptance. Some of you had to work multiple jobs to get through school. Some of you are quietly battling illnesses. Some of you have children you go home to and take care of. Some of you weren't able to get a college education the first time around and just wanted a second chance. And some of you immigrated to this country, went through this process feeling alone, and still made it here today. We all have obstacles we have faced and adversity we have overcome to get to where we are today. At the start of this journey, I certainly did not envision that I would be fortunate enough to have this many blessings. When I reflect back on the past and contrast it with the present, I think about the uncertainty of college to now getting ready to graduate. I contrast the difficult conversations with my parents about college and feeling like a financial burden to being able to tell my parents that I got through all of undergraduate scholarships without them having to pay a dime. And I certainly did not envision taking such a huge step out of my comfort zone and accepting a job after graduation in New York with Ernst & Young in their risk advisory practice. During times of adversity, it can be difficult to imagine a positive outcome, but here we are all today. And even if some of you may be finding it challenging to look past any hardships you are currently facing, just think about the successes you might be celebrating in another 4 years. I want to conclude with a quote that has a lot of significance for me, and I think it's fitting given the occasion. I remember 2 years ago at MC, I was talking to my business program director, Mr. Lang, about how I wasn't ready to leave MC. I felt comfortable there, and the thought of leaving and going to a new environment was absolutely terrifying. 2 years later, I find myself standing here feeling the same exact way about USG. So I remember after I graduated from MC, my program director gave me a book entitled The Last Lecture. And on the first page, he wrote a quote, which some of you may know because it's a quote from a song, and it said, "Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end." And it took me a while to understand the significance of this quote, but I see that it still applies today. This chapter of college is coming to a closing, and I know for many of us here, despite all the excitement, this really is a terrifying moment. We're all about to graduate and head off in our own separate directions. However, although our time here at USG is ending, let us be hopeful and joyful about the possibility of new and better beginnings. Congratulations, 2017 graduating class.